Yes, we are here. We are here. We are here. We're very much here, and we appreciate you acknowledging the nudges we have been giving you to be able to give you our perspective and information. It is, oh, you are suddenly being aware of distractions. You do not want to be a distraction to others, and you do not want to be distracted with others at this important time. And so we have prompted you to take off the channeling comments, the comments in the videos, with much love and respect to those people who want to, with much love and respect you and your work. This does not need to be spout out. And it is just a politeness. And we encourage them to go within themselves and love themselves and be giving themselves gratitude for listening to this information and to be able to apply it. We would prefer them to focus on self rather than having to support what they think is the socially polite thing to do. We also understand that the vehicle was more than happy to acknowledge and constantly send love to others, but this is not necessary because she can trust that those who are listening are doing their diligent work and actually being able to be responsible for loving themselves. You all know that you are supposed to love yourselves. And while it is polite to share and support each other, it is still a little bit of a distraction for many. And so we say this is all purposeful, where we just want you to focus on the content and the conversations more than what other people are taking away from it, or what other people are saying, or what other people are not saying. We know that it can be so distracting for you as you're trying to seek and look at what other people are saying. Again, this is about empowering yourself and not having to trust or rely on other people's comments or thoughts to validate this information. Again, this is about empowering yourselves. And it's not a social group that just needs to be spiritually masturbating amongst themselves. We know that this is a very crass statement, but it doesn't need to be so self-indulgent. And while we do want you all to love each other, there is truly no need to be able to keep saying and doing things that people feel like they have needed to say and do. You're all so much busier than this, and it is a distraction. We would love for all of you to focus on the concepts, focus on the content, and apply. This would be more beneficial for us. And we are still seeking many of you to actually have your sessions and to get over your hurdles, because we are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you to have your own sessions. We have still continually given many people profound connections to be able to have sessions, but for whatever reasons, they are distracting themselves and delaying themselves. And this is why we have preferred not to put so much of our content and our own information on the other channel, which is what we labeled Conversations with Heaven on Earth, because people were still distracting themselves with this information from other people versus getting their own information. It was stepping stones, and that is fantastic because it is still our high integrity truth that you can hear in those sessions. But this is the time to be able to activate yourselves completely and truly, to be able to understand how you can connect in with us, your own spiritual teams. And while you can hear very similar information through other vehicles, we want you to empower yourselves to have these profound connections, because some of you have either got misunderstandings of what is occurring, and you are using your egos and your 3D mindsets to try and fill in some of the pieces of the puzzle. So Give us all of your pieces to the puzzle and let us explain it through you. This would be very significant for you to do this. There is nothing stopping you. So as soon as you truly step up and want to be able to get these profound answers from self, we will definitely be able to guide you to the most appropriate practitioner to be able to give you the support. The practitioners will not come knocking at your door. You must start knocking at theirs. This is so significant and important right now. And it truly is a financial investment in your soul's evolution journey. If you did have to pay for such a session, you could also spend time to work on connecting in with us through meditation, through deep relaxation, through using your own free will to connect in with us, to set the intentions that you are open and you can trust us. So many people still don't want to trust us and dismiss their own intuition, and they would prefer to trust other people's information. They don't seem to even have discernment whether it's disinformation or not. We see you so distracted by so many other very limited and actually different collectives' information. And you can't understand why you feel even more so lost, because you are not knowing which is the right information for you. It all feels sort of similar, sort of like for like, for like, for like, for like. But it's simply not the case. So for you to finally truly understand the right information for you, we again recommend you connecting in with us directly yourself. Cut out the middleman, shall we say, because that is just another stepping stone. That is another block for you to overcome. You always are supposed to overcome these other people's opinions and connections to be able to be inspired enough to be able to want to do it for yourself. But you are so distracted on other people's journeys, so distracted with other people's learning curves, that you're fully distracting yourself from self. We prompted the vehicle to have this channeling today, even though she feels when she's listening to us saying this, well, haven't you already said this so many times? And we say, yes, we are on repeat constantly, because people are still dismissing this information and they're still dismissing us. And so even through this vessel and this message now, many people are still dismissing us as if we're not speaking directly to you, to say, it is time. It is time for you now to stop your distractions, stop your limitations, and to actually be honest, to be able to work within yourself, to know thyself. Know thyself. Do not be ashamed. Do not be afraid. You are fantastic because you're all parts of source. And it somewhat amuses us and bemuses us that many of you still have this strange assumption that you're not deserving of love. And it's so peculiar for us to see you struggling like that when you are nothing but love. That is your core soul essence, is love. That is your natural frequency vibration, is love. And yet you've put on these monkey suits to add on to this density. And we're saying you're constantly seeking yourself. You're constantly seeking your profound sense of self. You're constantly seeking the love of source. And that is the love of self. It always has been, and it always will be. You're all one. But when you're trying to rely on other people's information as a more advanced version of your own self's truth, you're always going to see it through the lens of another person's journey. And we are saying your journey is unique. Your journey is specifically designed for you. And so you're still needing to understand some of those life lessons and experiences to be able to let it go. Let it go. It's time to let it go now. It is time to heal now. It isn't time. It is time to empower yourselves. And it is time for you to let go of the sense of time, because time is such a strange concept from us. But we understand that you love it so, and so we use it. But we can tell you that that concept of time doesn't serve you, but we have to explain things that you understand the way that you understand them the best we can, while understanding the appropriate use of your labels and senses and names. And so from your position, for you to move forward, you must use that time, in quotation marks, time. You must use all of those steps that you have to still be able to experience this 3D life wisely. Focus on what's truly important. Stop getting distracted. Fully empower self. And some of that empowerment of self is understanding that many people are sensing different contracts are changing, that different big events are coming and things will be changing. Even the most outspoken person who may complain about their daily lives and their struggles with their jobs and their families, they are starting to feel a sense of insecurities as they know bigger changes are coming. And it's suddenly making them feel concerned, because even though they have wanted change, they've wanted so much disclosures and changes and empowerment and things to be fixed and things to be corrected and things potentially to go back to how they used to be in their youth. And they're scared. They have been wanting this for so long, and now when they can feel that there is big things about to change, they suddenly are getting very quiet and very scared. And they don't know why they're getting scared. They're getting quite angsty. They're getting a little bit agitated because there is this new frequency vibration that is uplifting them. It is speeding up their bodies at a cellular rate. It is speeding up their mind processes at a very high consciousness rate. And so while they've had to expand their consciousnesses to be able to match their frequency vibrations in their physical bodies, to be able to grow with both, you're all trying to connect back into a higher realm. You are being prepared to be evolving. And so there's many steps to it for many reasons. And there are some life contracts that are about to end with each other. It doesn't mean that your life exits. You're not having exit points, but you're having end of contracts. And you're having to complete these last bits of contracts with each other. This may be confusing for people who don't understand that there is change. Their teams are trying to pull you away from them to stop distracting yourself and to start living your lives without them being in your awakening consciousness and daily experiences. We're trying to, again, reorganize people into the like for like frequency. Many of your life contracts have changed, as many of you are not able to go to New Earth now, as you must be able to do, and be of service for something else. And so as your life contracts change, so do your life contracts with each other. And while you're still here in the 3D, your life contracts are changing as you need to separate yourselves emotionally and potentially physically from each other to be able to find your like for like frequency matches, because you need to make their acquaintances now. Or you need to focus on your own frequency energy and make more acquaintances of yourself to know thyself even more profoundly than you have before. And so you may see more frustrations with people who don't understand why they are suddenly feeling distant from you. they almost go into a fear. They almost panic and think, is there a literal a fear occurring? Why is there this disconnect? Why is there this disharmony and this energetic separation? They don't understand it, so they will not be able to verbalize this with you. They can't express it. Subconsciously, they know what is happening, but consciously they can't. But they can feel the distance growing amongst you stronger and stronger. This confuses them, and this can actually make them so afraid because they don't know the truth, that they can create a form of frustration, which then can develop into a form of anger. And this could be explosive anger that can come in waves as they are not too sure what is going on. And then, of course, they have the cycle, the down cycle of exploding emotionally with anger, because then they panic thinking, is this now the argument that has taken place that is going to separate and divide and put that wedge in between the energetic relationship, which makes them feel even worse, that they are seeing for their own eyes that there is these friendships and these relationships that are dividing, and makes them so stressed. And then they feel so guilty that potentially this is it, because they don't see you changing, but they feel the change. This makes them feel so uneasy. But we're getting them to focus on themselves more, and other people who they're going to be shifting, not shifting with, but when they shift and where they go next, that is where they will be together again. And so it is all purposeful, but we are wanting to explain again how some people are feeling more agitated than others, and feeling this extra tension amongst their friends and family that may not have had tension prior. As we are getting ready to ramp up this experience even further, we are trying to trigger people into certain experiences, and we are trying to really guide heavily those to be driven to what they need to really be focusing on at this important time. There is so much for you to do in your waking hours to be able to be of service to yourself and to others, to be able to hold a higher frequency. Because when you're consciously awake in your body, you are consciously holding on to frequency. You must be able to remove your density and do your inner work to be able to maintain a higher frequency. And for those people who do not do their active inner work, who do not look at their attitudes and their traumas that they are not addressing, not just from this lifetime, but all the other lifetimes they have ever lived. And if they are holding on to that density, they will be limited into the higher frequency range that they are supposed to be holding on to and working through in their awakening hours. As you know, when you are sleeping, you are doing other things. So when you are waking up, and this is why many people are waking up all through the night, is because you are holding on to that frequency and bringing it here and keep anchoring it in. And this is important for many reasons. And so this is why you must be diligent with your attention, and why you must be focusing on love and be able to transmute love out, a higher frequency of acceptance, peace on earth, love on earth, acceptance of all, respect for all, honoring all, including self. It is such an important time to be able to do this. And we know that this feels like such a responsibility. But remember, you promised and signed up to be of service. You wanted this role. You knew that you were capable of this and so much more. And so it was simply just a duty that you promised that you would help for humanity. And while we are having to remind you of this, and while some of you are doubting this, that we may be tricking you, we promise we are not. We are truly reminding you why you're here and why you feel like you've got such big responsibilities and duties to be of service, because you are, because you're remembering your life purpose and you know who you are. And knowing thyself and knowing their life contracts and knowing their missions and knowing what you're capable of will always be a more helpful reassurance to remember this is not being done to you as a punishment. You're here to be of service, to be awake and be of service, to have upliftment in your heart, to be able to share it to others, to have complete empathy and compassion for others while still empowering them and not disabling them or disempowering them. You cannot even try to do other people's inner work for them. You must be able to just remind them that you have done enough of your inner work to know that you are loved and you are loving, and all is well, and everything has significances and purposes. And so we hope that this has finally reached those who are still struggling to hear directly our message to thee. It is not time anymore to be limited or blocked. It is time to remember who you are. It is time to remember why you are here. And it is time for you to be of service. And we say this with much love.